Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video. So this video's got a little bit of everything, even a little bit of celebrity pop culture, because there seems to have been a celebrity story which has now been entangled with the royal family. We've also got to talk about garden parties, a beautiful new rose that has been created, and there is also a psycho serial stalker marching up and down the garden in Montecito, which I think you can all guess who I mean. So where to start this video? Let's start with the beautiful garden party that was held at Buckingham Palace, and it was hosted by the Prince and Princess of Wales. Alongside Catherine and William, we also got to see Sophie and Edward, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. We had the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, the lovely Zara Tindall, who recently celebrated her birthday, and Princess Eugenie, whose outfit I have got to say is my absolute favourite next to Catherine's. The York princesses have definitely been up in their fashion game. She's wearing more and more things that I like, and I love the fact that yet again she is there supporting Prince William and Catherine. I know I've said it before, but guys, I honestly believe that Princess Eugenie had previously made some mistakes. She's now righting herself. She has picked the right side of the family. Now, the Princess of Wales, this was her first garden party since 2023 after undergoing her cancer treatment, and she looked like a gorgeous ray of sunshine. Her outfit was the same one that she wore to Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee when we saw her at St Paul's Cathedral. She was also wearing her beautiful wedding earrings, which were a gift from her parents, Carol and Michael Middleton, for the big day. The delicate earrings feature acorns and oak leaves, which are part of the Middleton coat of arms, which was created for the family before the wedding. And her sister Pippa was designed something similar for being Catherine's maid of honour on her big day, and she wore the earrings again herself at her own wedding as her something old when she married James Matthews in 2017, and they just celebrated their 8th wedding anniversary on the 20th of May. Being reminded of how beautiful the Middleton sisters' weddings were is always something that brightens up my day anyway, and I loved Pippa's page boys and bridesmaids. Look how cute George was, and then of course Princess Charlotte. Catherine looked gorgeous as well. Now, seeing as we're just having a quick reminder of weddings, Harry and Meghan also celebrated their 7th wedding anniversary, which was on the 19th. But it would seem that Meghan celebrated her wedding anniversary on the 19th because she put a typical contrived, it looked like a vision board, you know, like a teenage girl does when she's thinking about careers and going to college and stuff. Meghan does seem to be stuck in that sort of era, and most of the photographs were, of course, of Meghan, but I'm not going to break it down because, to be honest with you, I have got more exciting things to talk about in this video. So back to the garden party. There were some special guests as always, with Prince William here putting his hand on young Matteo. He is the younger brother of talented photographer Liz Hatton, who sadly lost her battle with a rare form of cancer back in November last year. He and his parents had been invited to the special day, and Matteo gifted William and Catherine these gorgeous Jellycat soft toys. One was in the shape of a lemon tart and the other a pickled onion.
Well, thank you so much. Cue the Jellycat.
No, wait, look at my dress. How did you know?
That was because she talked about the lemon drizzle so much. She had it with the
Did you go and buy these this time here when you were in London?
No, this
that one from Harrogate.
Because she loved
pickled onions and she loved lemon drizzle.
Matteo did say that he handed them out because it's what his sister used to do to people that made her feel happy. And I was, you know, feeling the old mascara beginning to go. But what a lovely family. And he's such a lovely little boy. And it's very clear that he had such an amazing bond with his sister. And Catherine has said if they ever need any help with future fundraising, please let her know. Now, another young man present was Tony Hudgell, who this was very special because last year he had got stuck in traffic and he'd sadly missed the party. But Queen Camilla had invited him with another young girl called Lila, who I think she was having hospital treatment at the time, for their very own special tea party. She threw a full-on tea party. They even had their own military band playing music. See, people can be so mean about Camilla, but I actually think she is a big softie. Now, as for Tony, this little boy, he's turning into a young man now. He's a hero. He is such an incredibly brave young man who has raised millions for charity to help support other children affected by emotional and physical abuse, because Tony's own birth, I don't want to call them parents because they don't deserve that title, but they abused him so badly that Tony ended up in hospital and he became a double amputee as a baby. But with the help and the love and support of his actual now mum and dad, he has been one of the most courageous children that I've ever heard about, and he was awarded the British Empire Medal in 2024 in the New Year's Honours, becoming the youngest ever to receive the honour. What a legend. It was so nice to see him there. And if I haven't made you cry yet, here's another wonderful person that was at the garden party, who Catherine got a very special hug from, not just him but also his granddaughters, Holocaust survivor Stephen Frank, who has become close with the princess after they met each other a few years ago when she invited Frank and his granddaughters to take part in a special photo shoot to commemorate the 75th year to the end of the Holocaust, which Catherine herself had taken the photographs. There are so many incredible people who are invited, from charity workers, volunteers, heroes in the communities, medical workers, people that save animals' lives, veterans, you name it. It is pretty much an all-star cast of people that get to go to that garden party. It's pretty special and they really do put on an incredible spread. There's music, there's so much, apparently, so many cakes and sandwiches. It goes on as far as the eye can see. Now that's my sort of party. So moving away from the garden party, let's talk about the Royal Chelsea Flower Show, which every single year I forget about it, then I think, should have booked tickets. Why didn't I get tickets? I will go one year. One, because of all of the beautiful colours and the flowers and the incredible designs. People create these amazing gardens. Catherine, Princess of Wales, I remember when she did hers, which was beautiful. We got to see the Wales children, well, they were the Cambridge children back then, where they got to try it out with George and Charlotte sitting there together, and then a really cute boss baby running round causing chaos, I'm sure. Catherine didn't just put her name to it. She got down and dirty. She helped, she mucked in, and she helped design it and create it. And I remember Queen Elizabeth walking around and she was so happy as she took in all of the hard work that her granddaughter-in-law had done to create a little slice of garden paradise. There are so many incredible designs for gardens every single year that are submitted, but this year's winner of the coveted Royal Horticultural Society's Garden of the Year was a stunning and very peaceful Japanese-style tea garden called Cha no Niwa, and the designer was Kazuyuki Ishihara, and his reaction to winning the award made me so happy, so here's a clip.
Yatta! Got it already! Thank you very much! Yatta! Thank you! Thank you very much! Thank you!
How could that not put a smile on anyone's face? But the flower show was obviously incredible. Lots of celebrities go every single year. We saw the fabulous Mary Berry dressed in a lovely pink number. She's also one of the nation's grandmothers that has actually coined the term of a soggy bottom. You also had the fabulous Dame Joanna Lumley, who was definitely enjoying herself going around smelling all of the flowers. I love her so much, but because I was obsessed with Ab Fab, I can only picture her with a fag hanging out of her mouth and a bottle of champagne in one hand. But she's an incredible actress, and she's also linked to quite a few of the things to do with the royal family as well. So speaking of being linked to the royal family, you had the ambassador of the King's Foundation, David Beckham, who was there all suited and booted, happily greeting the King and Queen. David, as you know, has worked on several major projects now and of course fundraisers, not just with the King, but also Prince William. And Queen Elizabeth II, she seemed to have a bit of a soft spot for David as well. In fact, David and Victoria are so well liked by the royals that they were even invited to a state banquet for the Emir of Qatar back in December last year. And also more recently, they were invited to Highgrove House for a special dinner celebrating the relationship between the UK and Italy. Victoria looked absolutely beautiful in this white gown, and naturally of her own creation. The party was attended by Donatella Versace, Helen Mirren and Stanley Tucci, who I believe actually oversaw the menu for the whole dinner party. If you guys haven't seen and you like Italian food, his show Searching for Italy, I cannot recommend it enough, but I will say have a plate of food in front of you because it will make you incredibly hungry. Now, whilst the King and Queen were chatting to David at the flower show, it was also overheard that the King was inquiring whether David received his birthday present, to which he responded, "Thank you, it was very kind." Camilla then noticed his buttonhole and said, "Nice to see you again. Glad that you got the roses." Now, the rose that David was wearing is honestly stunning. I've never seen a rose like this. And this is a special rose that was grown by David Austin Roses. It is called the King's Rose, and proceeds that are made for the sale of this rose go towards supporting the King's Foundation. Honestly, I'd never even knew that you could get a striped rose. It's so pretty. So whilst we're talking about roses, this brings me on to the perfect next Meghan being a little bit crazy story. Because, you know, obviously you've had the King's Rose, and then we had Harkness Roses created the Catherine Rose, that beautiful coral pink rose. It smells like Turkish delight, it smells like mango. All of the proceeds are going to the Royal Marsden Cancer Charity, and it was beautiful. But Harkness Roses have also created another rose which you can still buy, and it's called the Princess Diana Rose, and it's white with a hint of yellow. And guess what Duchess Crazy Pants uploads to her Instagram account pretty much, 48 hours later? Meghan holding a single white rose which looks exactly the same as the Diana Princess of Wales rose. Now, if you think that maybe I'm overreaching a little bit, it's the fact that not only is she walking with the rose in her hand, she's also making sure that Diana's gold tank watch and Diana's tennis bracelet is on full display. Meghan is completely obsessed with the Princess of Wales. HG Tudor said that her having access to social media and uploading all the time is going to show her crazy a lot quicker. We saw when Catherine's rose was announced, within a matter of hours, she released a video. She managed to find an old video of her hacking up some pink or peach roses for one of her floral displays. Then, of course, you've now got Meghan marching around with a rose. As I said, looks like the Princess Diana rose, showing off Diana's jewellery. And it's crazy at this point. She's obsessed with her mother-in-law, and her husband gives me the ick because he seems perfectly fine and okay with Meghan pretending that she is somehow the reincarnation of his mother. It does make me think of Norman Bates, and I sometimes wish I didn't think it, but sometimes I think that he probably calls her mummy. And as I said, it just gives me that bleh sort of feeling. Now, with Meghan doing this, obviously she's so obsessed with trying to keep herself relevant with the royal family. There's another story that she has jumped on. She jumps on bandwagons, and obviously a very popular story that seems to be going on at the moment in the UK is the Beckham family fallout. I don't know why, but the Daily Mail are running stories on it hourly at the moment. It's a very sad situation. It's a case of their eldest son, Brooklyn Beckham, is no longer speaking to his family because they've fallen out with his new wife, Nicola Peltz Beckham, daughter of a billionaire in America. But what Meghan did was very obvious, and I do believe that Meghan and her team are behind this. Victoria Beckham was trending alongside the Princess of Wales, wasn't she? Because she wore that beautiful olive green tailored suit. She looked gorgeous with her gorgeous chestnut hair shining on a sunny day. She looked beautiful when she went to hand out that fashion award. So you've got Victoria trending alongside Catherine, the Kate effect. Victoria Beckham sold out despite the hefty price tags on her clothes. Well, within a matter of hours, Meghan and Harry are having secret dinners. They've befriended Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz Beckham. They've taken them under their wing. Meghan feels sorry for Nicola because she too knows what it feels like to be dragged by the media for being an American woman, tearing the son away from the family. But what it allowed was, it was allowing Meghan to get herself in the headlines to do with the Beckham feud, thus taking the headlines away from Catherine wearing Victoria Beckham. Then it's, oh, Meghan and Harry are hanging around with Brooklyn and Nicola. Because the story, as soon as it came out, within 24 hours of creating that drama, it started being corrected and pulled back. And it was apparently Harry and Meghan's team that put out the story correcting the narrative, and that's not true. And I think to myself, so they can put out an article correcting the narrative about something as ridiculous as that, but they still never called out Omid Scobie when he named the King and the Princess of Wales the royal racists. They could have put out a story at any point, especially when they knew that the King and Catherine had cancer, yet they remained tight-lipped. But they allowed this story to come out and then quickly pulled it back because there was a bit of backlash. I can't help but think that they pulled the story back saying, well, that's not entirely true, because I'd imagine that either the Beckhams or Brooklyn and Nicola themselves might have put out a statement saying, we were at a group dinner 2 weeks ago. That's the thing. This is where I think it was leaked on purpose. They were at a dinner 2 weeks ago. Within hours of Catherine wearing Victoria Beckham's suit and it trending, that story gets leaked, and it's Harry and Meghan that feel so upset about it that they pull it back. It's a tactic that they have used time and time again, and it took the attention away from Victoria and Catherine and put it temporarily on Harry and Meghan. So it's honestly, like I said, with everything that's going on with her obsession with everything to do with Catherine, I think that Meghan is what she said on that Jamie Kern-Lima podcast. I'm so busy. She's too busy to cook dinners. No, what Meghan's too busy doing is stalking the royal family and any stories that are coming out about them. And this whole thing with the War of the Roses, to me, just proves it. But anyway, guys, as always, that's just my thoughts. Tell me yours, and I will be back with you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.